Welcome in to another week here at The Elephant Effect. It's your boy Stone.
Lady M.
Yeah. And we're back with another series, fresh off the presses for you guys. And it's the Becoming series. All right. So lock in if you're ready. Let's get it. So back in, we got episode 1 for you guys. It's titled Becoming Requires Breaking. All right, growth doesn't always begin with building. It begins with breaking everything that no longer fits who you've become or who you're becoming. That brings us right into topic number 1. Breaking reveals the truth you've been avoiding. Okay? So you can only fake it for so long. Them breakdowns, they're gonna expose the lies you've made look functional. Okay? So hey, let's keep it 100 with ourselves. Let's not fake it, because when you fake it, you're not gonna make it. I mean, you can make it look good in the very beginning, but in the end, it's all gonna crumble apart because it's not built on that foundation of truth. It's not built on that foundation of honesty with yourself. It's built on the foundation of lies and deception to yourself. Okay, you're not deceiving anybody but yourself. You're only hurting yourself when you build that foundation on a weak platform, on a weak plateau. So yeah, crisis has a way of snatching the mask off what you tolerated for too long. All right. So yeah, dude, if you're in a crisis mode, guess what? It's gonna expose those weak points in your armor, and those chinks in those armors. It's gonna expose it because you've been tolerating it for too long. So now you can't holster it anymore. You can't carry that weight on your shoulder anymore. So now it's starting to chip away at who you truly are. Who you're trying to be. All right, so just like I said, take a step back and reveal that truth of who you truly are, and break down. Break down is healthy. It just means that hey, a new beginning is coming. Absolutely. And it's a new fresh start for you. All right, so stop avoiding the breakdown. The breakdown is absolutely essential in any type of growth. All right, and that goes back to the alignment series. If you try to get aligned in anything you're doing, you have to have that break. Because if you don't break, then you're not being truthful, you're not being honest to yourself, all right? Because some success is actually built on the silence and the shame and the suppression. You know, those things, when you hear those, that silence, that shame, that suppression, you think, oh man, how can you really grow on that? But that's when you really begin to see yourself for who you truly are, you know, in those down moments, in those low moments, in those silent moments, because you're reflecting and you have that moment to sit there and say, oh, this is what clarity looks like, all right? And the shame. There's clarity and there's power in shame.
Absolutely.
Because now you're sitting back and you're thinking, oh man, this is shameful, but hey, I learned a lesson through the shame. All right, and suppression. You know what you've been suppressing for so long. Now you get to sit back and you get to say, dang, I've been holding that for a long time. Mm-hmm. And all of this is all growth. It's all foundational growth, and it's all leading into a positive place where you can begin to build on it. All right, and breaking forces clarity. What you won't admit voluntarily, life will expose violently.
It will.
Violently. Okay? So, hey, force that clarity upon yourself, okay? You don't want to have to be exposed in the wrong type of moment, okay? So do it yourself. Expose your weakness yourself instead of letting life tear you down and humble you, all right? Let's humble ourselves, not let life do it.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, going into point number 2, success built on suppression always cracks. If you can't breathe in your life, if you can't breathe in the life you've built, it's not success. It's survival with a title. That's so good because it goes back to, are you living or are you existing? And so often we live in survival mode or autopilot. But we're really not building a success story. We're just going along to get along. Suppressing your need to be accepted guarantees eventual burnout. So often we feel like we need to, go back to the applause, the satisfaction, or the acceptance of others, and we don't even accept ourselves. And so this one just talk about keeping up with that facade. We keep up with that facade for so long, and you're not being genuine to your true self, it's going to lead to burnout. You can only keep that representative emotion but for so long. And so you're not overwhelmed because you're incapable. You're overwhelmed because you're overperforming. When you think about that acceptance, you're overperforming. You're not even operating in your true self. You are trying to tap into a different identity that does not belong to you, and so you definitely overperform. The collapse didn't come from weakness. It came from carrying what wasn't yours, and so often we're past torches and so many things just based off of conversations that we try to live up to, that the genuineness of who we are, we just break under suppression. Is so much to try to carry what somebody else has put upon you, when you were gifted to carry your own torch, to be successful in your own right.
Right. All right, that brings us right into number 3. Control is the last thing to break, all right, and the first thing you must let go. All right, so control gives you the illusion of power. Control gives you the illusion of power, but it usually is driven by fear.
Yes.
All right, so stop chasing so much control. All right, that's where we start to get lost in all of the shuffle and all the mix of life, is when we try to control everything that's outside of your power.
That's good.
And it's driven by fear, because we're so fearful of failing that you feel like you have to control every aspect of your life. And then you get overwhelmed, and now you're in your head all the time. All right, so you have to let that go. That must be the first thing we let go. All right, don't be scared to give up control, especially when it's going to lead to a healing place, a positive place. Don't give up control to something that's going to completely destroy you or leave you incapable of using your willpower or your alignment to succeed. But definitely give up that control so you can start to succeed and start to feel that success come over you, because you got to let it go. All right, the need to manage every outcome is proof you don't trust the process. Okay, say it again. The need to manage every outcome is proof that you don't trust the process. All right, you have to trust what you're doing. All right, period, point blank. You have to trust what you're doing. You put it in motion. You know what success looks like in your head. So trust it and go with it. Trust that God's got your back every step of the way. When you start to lean on your own understanding, that's when things start to go sideways for you. Okay, so manage it. Manage the outcome. Manage your life. Don't just let things go out of control and just spiral on you. Okay, we need to manage this and trust the process at every step of the way. All right, the tight grip that keeps you in control is the same grip choking your growth. Okay, so you keeping it, yeah, swallow that one, write that one down, because that's a good one for you. That tight grip that keeps you in control is the same grip that's choking your growth. It's stunting your growth. Okay, let that control go and realize what's going on in your life, and then you're going to be able to operate in a much smoother and a much more positive direction, to where you're going to look back and like, man, yeah, I really didn't have to carry all this. It was unnecessary burden, and it was leading me to stress out and keep myself down, when I could have been elevating this whole time, because I was scared to let myself breathe and choking myself. All right, so what if peace isn't having it all together? What if peace isn't having it all together, but letting it all fall apart?
That's
okay
good.
Think about that. Let that soak into that frontal and that mental. Okay, what if peace isn't about having it all together? What if it's about letting it all fall apart? All right, and that's go right back to allow that break to come. Okay, you're carrying too much on your shoulders, and you gotta take a step back, and you gotta just breathe and just let it fall. Sometimes you gotta destroy it to build it back up the way it needs to be built. Okay,
that's good. I heard faith was written all over that. So going right into topic number 4, breaking doesn't mean you're behind. It means you're aligned. You're realigning. This goes back to, I love how all of this is tying together. Some of it may sound repetitive, but that's how we learn. Just a repeat of information, just getting it inside your membrane, so that whenever you need it, you can regurgitate it. So breaking down doesn't mean that you're behind. It means that you're realigning. You're not off track. You're being reset before you waste time on the wrong path. And I think we all can give a testament to us being on the wrong path, just out of alignment, just doing whatever appeases other people. But alignment often requires an internal earthquake before external peace. Oh, good. Man, and we hate that internal shakeup because it goes back to point 3, where you have to give up that control because you are trying to control the uncontrollable. It's an earthquake. Everything is changing. That battle between the heart and the mind is going on. Only to know that on the other side of this, there is peace. But sometimes you can't even get to that peace because you're not even allowing that internal earthquake. And so the breakdown can be the exact pivot point your destiny needed. And sometimes we don't even allow the breakdown to even come into fruition because we're so stuck on, oh my goodness, I'm losing my grip. Oh, wait a minute, I'm not controlling this situation. When it wasn't even your situation to control from the start. And so, just be thinking about those monumental moments or, what is the actual pivot and celebrate those because they could definitely be attached to your destiny. And don't confuse divine delay with defeat. We talked, on many episodes before just about delay is not always not my turn. It's just this thing is being fine-tuned for when it is for you, then you're gonna take off and go. So realignment doesn't move at the speed of ego. And I think sometimes we allow our egos to get in the way because we do want to say I've made it, I've arrived, but it's about running your own race and realizing that whenever you look to the left or to the right, you should be seeing your own obstacles and not other people, because this is your race alone, and each hurdle, when you overcome them, you should be celebrating those, and just realigning your life, not looking and saying, oh wait, this person is further up the road, because we don't know what sleep they're losing, we don't know what they're doing to maintain what they show that they have. So know that this is your journey. Like just appreciate your realignment so that your life can be aligned.
Appreciate the realignment. Appreciate it. That brings us right into number 5. Okay, isolation during the break is a sacred space. Okay, it's a sacred space, not a punishment. So isolation, that's important. All right, it's not, you're not being punished, and it's not something, oh, I'm feeling back against the wall. No, this is time set apart for you to get your life together. All right, it's time God shaking that foundation. It's clearing, it's giving you clarity, and it's removing obstacles, and removing toxic relationships, toxic people, anything that's not gonna get you to that finish line is being removed and stripped. Like I said, it's not a punishment. You're not a child where you take your toy because you're being bad. No, this is a shakeup. This is that earthquake that she was referencing. It's that foundational earthquake to get you where you need to be. So live in that and appreciate those moments, all right? The loneliness in a breaking season isn't rejection. It's protection while you evolve, okay? So we're protecting what's ours. We're protecting what we're building, all right? Because it's a fragile rebuild. When you're rebuilding, there's a lot of outside noise that can come in and easily throw you off track, all right? So you need to get your blinders on and just really focus in and narrow that vision down to what's really important and what you need to focus on, okay? Don't get swayed left and right by the noise and all the outside, all the noise that can come in and steal your joy and steal that happiness that you built for yourself, okay? We left that behind. Remember that loneliness is a breaking season, all right? Some people can't witness your becoming because they're tied to who you were.
That's good.
All right? Don't let them people come in that were back then. Don't let them come in and start to hinder and sway and start to influence you back to where you were. You're already past that. So cut that off right there, X that out, and move forward, all right? They don't deserve this new greatness that's coming because they were already part of the problem. All right, now if you introduce them back in, guess what? You're introducing that same problem that you've been dealing with, all right? Absolutely. This is a new season. With new seasons come new challenges, new perspectives, and new blessings. All right, so leave those old, leave the old in the old, and accept that newness. All right, silence allows space for healing that noise never could. Okay, live in that silent space. All right, if you have an outlandish or an outspoken or a, just a loud demeanor about yourself, practice honing it in and practice that silence and just sitting back and listening, observing, absorbing, observe and absorb, and take it in and just see what life is about on that opposite spectrum. All right, and you'll learn a lot about yourself in that silence, because that's like I said, it's the time to get in your mind, get your body, your mind, and your soul aligned in one piece, and you'll grow a lot more substantially in that silence than you will if you're just being boisterous with your blessings. Because God often pulls you into solitude to sharpen you privately before elevating you publicly. Okay?
That's good.
Absolutely, absolutely. So realize what's going on in your life. Okay, you're being pulled. You're being pulled into a new awakening for yourself. So don't squander it by being outlandish and being out there. No, just take it all in and just be humble.
Yeah, topic number 5 definitely hit home for me. I didn't understand my isolation when I was going through it. Kind of made me feel like a woe is me, but it wasn't until I got on the other side that I realized that God was doing something to me and through me, and made me so much better. And so now I appreciate the quiet. I appreciate the isolation, because I know it's preparing me for elevation. And so definitely be mindful of your isolation phase.
Absolutely.
Don't take it for granted. Because one of the purest things that I can correlate that to is, if you think about ice. Ice turns into something that is essential, which is water. And so I know that I'm essential and I'm necessary, not just for me to survive, but for other people to survive. And so just think of it in that aspect, that you're being fine-tuned and pruned and all of that for something great. So leading us right into topic number 6, you can't take everyone with you, and that's the break most people resist. Right. Oftentimes that is the hardest challenge, separating yourself from those who are attached to your old identity. So often we feel like, oh my goodness, this is happening for me and I have to take this weight, and we don't think of it as weight. We see them as friends, family, whatever. But if you're going into a different area in your life, and this person is stagnant or sitting at a standstill, even don't have common goals, then don't consider yourself as losing people. You're losing access to what no longer honors your growth. Because nothing is worse than a target that's not moving, and you definitely don't want to continue to sit in place. I think sometimes we can be held captive by those who don't want to put in the work to heal, to align their life. And so oftentimes we fall off of our journey because those who don't honor our growth, we're so attached to them because they feel comfortable. And guess what? Growth don't always feel comfortable. It's the tearing and the isolation that we don't want to go through. But take this serious with who you are becoming. Each day is a gift, and so you don't want to continue to just wither away. Loyalty becomes toxic when it costs you your transformation. Right. We hold on to people, places, and things, but we don't even realize how it costs us our transformation. We sometimes delay our own progress because we keep going to unfertile ground. We keep trying to plow with no good soil, with people who don't even have seed in the ground, if that makes sense. So some connections expire the moment you choose yourself. And that is so rich, because sometimes choosing yourself may seem like the hardest thing to do. And when others see you choosing yourself, they find every reason to be present in your life. Like, oh my goodness, you really might elevate and become what you said you would. And so sometimes your growth scares people because they know that you will outgrow them. The version of you that they love, the version of you that they love was built on survival, not for purpose. I mean, if you think about those who are attached to your survival, pretty much all of those people are living the same way. They're surviving, just coasting, just existing.
Right.
And so they'll never be attached to your purpose because they're not pushing you into your purpose. If they were, this wouldn't even be registering to you right now. You'll be just shaking your head or saying, oh, okay, I remember when. But if this is stabbing you, then you definitely need to think about, how do I get out of this mode of survival and start living, and trying to get around people who are more purposeful and who are driven to live in their purpose.
Absolutely. All right. That brings us right into number 7. The breaking is what makes the becoming believable. Okay? Your strength hits different when people know you've been through something. Okay? So that goes right back to having that testimony. And when people know that and they say, hey, this is what I've been through, this is what I've gone through, this is what I've endured, guess what? Then and you've just become that person. You become that person that somebody else can lean on. When they're going through the sun, because they got through it, and look at them, they're shining now. How did you get through that? What happened? How did you do it? So those like I said in the previous series, those are your blessings. So you can't hold on to those. All right, that's your strength. That's your core essence, and that's where you had to build yourself back up from. So why hide that from the world? Why cower from that? All right, that's something that you can wear on your chest and not have to just tuck it behind your back and just, try to protect it. No, show those wounds and let those wounds be known, because like I said, that somebody else needs those because they're going through exactly what you went through, and they need that escape. They need to know how to do it, okay? People don't trust polished, they trust processed, okay? They don't trust the polished. They don't, oh, no, this is too good to be true. Look at them, they're over there shining. That's not realistic. The realistic is, they've seen the process. They've seen what you've been through. They've seen you at your low, and now they see you at your high. Absolutely. That's something that they can see. That's evidence for themselves, not just, my life is just polished. I'm glorious. I'm shining. No, where did that come from? That's like kind of like a what do they call them? They call it people that are just born with money.
People who have a silver spoon?
Yeah, born with a silver spoon type of mentality. Exactly. Like, and when they get to talking and they get to, you really can't relate to it because what hardships have you had? But somebody who had to dig yourself out the mud and get it on their own, you're gonna have a much stronger foot to stand on, because people can trust that. They've seen it for themselves. All right. So transparency builds legacy. What you hide can't help anyone. All right. So like I said, be open, be transparent with your wounds, be transparent with your scars, be transparent with your hurt and your pain. All right, because that's gonna lead to a legacy, and that's what we're building. We're building legacies with this break. Okay, we're not just breaking just to break. We're breaking so we can be that phoenix out of the ashes. All right. If you skip the breaking, you missed a part of your story that changes lives. All right, and that's what we're in the business of changing lives with our break. All right, don't let the break just be a break. Let the break be a blessing.
Absolutely, because the power isn't in the breaking. It's in who you choose to be after. And so that definitely leads us into topic number 8. The breaking is to make you strong, but it's who you decide to become after that point. Will you resort back to what was comfortable, or do you take off and run? Survival is step 1, but reintervention is step 2. Are you willing to reinvent the wheel, knowing that this time around my life is going to be on purpose, in purpose.
Right.
And so you get to decide whether the breaking becomes a wound or a weapon. Oh my goodness. And so that's so good, because what we do with wounds, we continue to pick them, and we start over the healing process. But if we use this as a weapon, if we use this as something that's going to carry us for the rest of life, just something, a torch that you're able to pass to somebody, and just talk about, I remember when I went through the breaking, the crushing, and the pressing, and so now this is my weapon, and this is what I use, and I sharpen this every day as I sharpen other people to help them navigate through life. It's so much power in that, being able to just make this thing work. And so what you rebuild after breaking can't be shaken the same way. You come back even better, you come back stronger, and you appreciate those moments of the breaking. And then you're able to help somebody else. This isn't just your comeback, it's your becoming. Who are you becoming? Who are you brave enough to become? What are you willing to walk away from to be able to walk through? And that's what this is about, using it as your weapon. How powerful are you? Are you willing to fold and go into those moments to unpack who you truly are, to become who you really are? And so I definitely love this first series of the becoming, because I definitely feel like, and I know this for sure, that we all have an elephant in us that is lying dormant. And so what will you do to shake up the earth? What will you do to make your impact, your imprint? And so we definitely want to make sure that everything that you do here forward is purpose driven. And I always say, live on or live in purpose intentionally, and continue to go forth, be amazing. That's what you were born to be, and so you're destined for greatness. You're stopping you from becoming.
Absolutely. And remember, if you're in a season where everything feels like it's falling apart, don't run. All right, you're not being buried, you're being planted.
Yes, like a tree.
Like a tree. Exactly. You were dormant, your fruit wasn't growing. You're being planted, so now you're being that fruit-bearing tree, okay? The pain isn't the end, it's the invitation, all right? It's the invitation to let go. It's the invitation to rise new. And it's the invitation to finally, fully become, all right? Man, this series is great. I can already tell, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a little bit. Like I said, because that break is very uncomfortable, and if any growth that's gonna come, you have to make yourself uncomfortable. You want to get a new gym body, guess what? You're gonna have to go through 60 to 90 days of very uncomfortable diets. It's just something that you're gonna have to do. So like I said, it's all about shaking and breaking, okay? If you don't have that break, you're never gonna become. All right, so definitely stick with us through this series. I mean, this is gonna be a great one. I can tell by the end, by episode 3. You're gonna have a book full of notes on how to, get yourself that freedom that you're looking for. This is gonna align perfectly with our other series. So if you need to, go ahead and go back and watch our other series and just see how it all correlates and how it all ties back together. Because it's a beautiful thing how these are all tying together to realign you, and to empower you and to enrich your life. All right, so. Hey, stick with us. We'll be back next week. We absolutely love you guys. And like I said before, last series, drop your suggestions, drop questions, because we want to add a Q&A part to this, so we can film another episode during the week for you guys. We got to fill up this comment section with questions, anything that you have. We'd love to get your guys' feedback, and maybe you guys can control what you want to see, what series you want to see, or what you want us to talk on.
Absolutely. But we definitely appreciate y'all for sticking with us. We're all becoming together. It's all about evolving. And so we definitely want to make sure that we're keeping this momentum. Like he said, definitely let us know what you want to hear. We're here to serve you. And so definitely hope that you all are enjoying who you are becoming. Right. And you feel empowered at this point to lead your lives. So we love you. Have a wonderful week.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
Peace.